Hey everyone, welcome to the studio. This week has been crazy. See, I don't just have a chicken logo, I have chicken pets. So when I discovered evidence of rats in the coop, I had to drop everything and fix the problem. Of course, with some CAD and 3D printing. I wondered, could I 3D print a better rat trap? The best trap I've used for getting rid of pests is this trapdoor bucket-style contraption. The lid features a balanced trapdoor that allows mice to walk across to get some bait. Once they cross the center of balance, the door pivots under their weight, dumping them into the bucket before automatically resetting with gravity. It works great and catches lots of mice, but it's not designed for larger rodents. Rats are too large for the door and the whole thing is just too flimsy. So I went searching and found some great examples of this type of trap scaled up to catch larger pests. I usually start projects like this with a sketch, just to quickly visualize what I'm thinking and figure out some features and requirements. I'm going to try to mimic one of the products I found online. And for that reason, I'm not releasing the files for this. I just copied what the experts were doing and took notes on how they solved some of the challenges of making this trap successfully. Let's fire up Fusion and get to building this thing. Okay, here we are in Fusion 360. Let's start out with the top of the bucket for our sketch. I think we're going to design this lid first and build off of that. So measure the standard 5-gallon bucket is 11.8 inches in diameter on the outsides. So yeah, I'm not going to make you listen to all that. Plus, this isn't a video about how to make this trap. Instead, it's more about what's possible. Oh, and I guess about how your boy has a rat problem. So, if you want to watch this thing get designed, enjoy some music and a time lapse. Otherwise, you can skip ahead with the chapters. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. Now let's get this printed. Of course, I had to use the rat rig for printing the rat trap. Okay, let's get all the pieces together and get started. All right, so here's all of the pieces 3D printed. This was a huge print. Overall, it took about a day for all of the pieces. This was about 7 hours, 6 hours, I think 5 hours, 1 hour. So all the parts turned out pretty well. They definitely fit. It's a snug, oof. It's a snug fit. And there's no retaining clips or anything else in here. This is just friction fit. Very nice. So there's not going to be any gaps, any way that things can escape. I already went ahead and drilled out or reamed out these holes to try to get things big enough for the axle. This is 3/16 inch steel rod. Cut 2 of these. This is going to be the axle, and then this will be our little pin that we can put in to lock the door in place. Let's go ahead and get this part of the assembly finished. Okay, so here it is all put together. This looks pretty legit. Okay, I'm just going to stop things right here and talk about the appearance of these prints. All of these parts were printed in PLA Plus on my Rat Rig V-Core 3 using a 0.6 nozzle and 0.3 millimeter layer height. Because time was a factor, they were printed fast. And because the design was my own and hadn't been proven, I used minimal surface layers, wall, and infill, just in case something didn't fit or needed to be redesigned. I didn't want to waste any filament, so from the get, these parts were cursed. But what could be causing the ugly waffle pattern you see on each of these parts? Well, that's also on me. I had previously printed a part with some steep overhangs, and for that reason, I had turned on infill before walls in Cura. This setting does just what it says, printing the infill of each layer before printing the walls. When there's an overhang, this can give the walls something to grab onto, and it really helps correct overhang issues without needing to add supports. However, it has one silly byproduct, and that is the ghosting effect of the infill being seen through the wall. Higher wall count and slower speeds might fix this, but the easiest fix is simply turning this setting off. Since it's just an aesthetic problem though, we're going to keep rolling. If that's what you would do, hit the like button below and let me know. Alright, just felt like I had to address that. Let's get on with it. Even got a little holding place for the pin that locks it as the friction fit. Oop. But, you know, not going to have to be using that too much. The bait station, this is also a friction fit. This came out a little bit tighter than I would have wanted, but you know, you can pop it out. This is the grate, slides right in and locks into place. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. Then the trap door. So what I did is I ended up stacking all of these nuts to find out where I got the best balance. And then we've got a tiny magnet right here and right there. It feels so solid up until that one point. So let's get some pine shavings in here to provide a soft landing and get a demo rat, and let's see if this thing works. All right, so this is what the trap looks like off of the bucket, and you can kind of see it angles downward from underneath. There's no way that a rat can access to push the door open. Any pushing is pivoting the door so that it's closing even harder. So yeah, this is almost entirely sealed up once it's closed. And we've got that pin. Pull that out, and we can insert that right here in the back. So now rats, whatever else, get up in here, and they're not going to fall down in. And that's going to make them feel at home and comfortable around this trap. So hopefully, once I take that pin out, they'll be more than willing to hop on in. So we're going to test this out with Emil.
This is Emil.
Let's grab our test subject. Okay. Emil, let's see. Can you go? Oh, beautiful. Very nice. All right, off camera just now, I reduced the number of nuts here from 7, went down to 6. And we've still got this little, the extra spacer here. Boy, that is very slight, very subtle. Emil, come show them how it's done. Whew. Boy, that's quick. You can see that the magnet makes sure it holds on till just the last minute and then release. I set up the trap with the locking pin for the first night so the rats could get comfortable. I also removed all other sources of food and threw a handful of chicken feed into the trap's entrance. It didn't take long for them to show up. Cautious at first, but then it was a free-for-all. They were all over that trap. Tomorrow night, I pull the pin and we see if this trap can do what it was designed for. All right, it's the next morning, and what a beautiful day. Let's see if we caught some rats. Let's see. Wow. I ended up catching 4 that first night. Time to look at the trail cam footage. I saw lots of activity, but unfortunately didn't record a single capture. I even watched a few small rats fully enter and exit the trap, so I'll need to adjust the weights or maybe the magnet before redeploying. Oh, that's a lot of rats. Alright, so I still have my work cut out for me, but I think I was able to definitively answer the question. Yes, you can absolutely 3D print a better rat trap. I know this is a fairly niche problem that hopefully none of you out there are also dealing with, but I think it perfectly highlights how versatile 3D printing can be. There is no limit. There's no single lane. If you can envision a solution, you can probably 3D print it. Have you recently designed a practical print? Let me know what sort of wild 3D printing applications you're working on in the comments. That's all I got for this week. This is Roman for DS Creative Studio. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and even hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss a thing. See you next time.